You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth. I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio.
Welcome to a special edition Heavy Muscle Radio Show. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo. I'm here with Chris, the technician, Aceto, and my special RX Muscle species cast of Colleen Brennan to my right. To my left, we have the lovely Australian, or now American, Morgan Hayward.
I think the novelty will wear off with this bunch.
Chris, we have a very special Memorial Day special here. It's the post-New York Pro Show. This is the very first time we've ever done Heavy Muscle Radio on video and live.
Yes, it's groundbreaking.
4 out of the last 5 days we've done live programming here on RxMuscle.com, only for you guys out there. And you know what? We can mobilize the troops, it seems like, in no time at all. I think we have something like 400 people watching already, watching us live. And I want to just put it out there that if you guys have questions for Chris and I or anyone on the panel, you can submit them. You can either call in. I think Johnny will put the call-up number out there, or you can text them on the little chat room there, and we will answer them. I promise you that, assuming we have enough time. Now, Chris, the issue at hand, number one, it's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And I know Morgan, coming from Australia, doesn't really know what Memorial Day is.
Right.
Colleen thinks Memorial Day probably is the first day of the beaches opening.
Yes,
right?
party time.
And party time, right?
Yes.
That's what Vinny the Chin would say.
Exactly.
And some people think that Memorial Day, they confuse it with Labor Day. Labor Day is the end of the summer where we celebrate people who work, which we don't work, so we don't really get this over. Memorial Day is actually, do you know what it means?
I think it's to recognize and honor the people who fought for the country and allow us to enjoy the freedoms that make this country unique.
It's supposed to be a moment of silence. It was originally called.
Okay, I was close.
I
thought if I said
Seems
it
like you really celebrated it properly.
It was originally called Decoration Day. It was started after the Civil War. Because, the Civil War was between the North and the South. So it was all Americans. So it was basically designed to, I guess, acknowledge Americans who had died in battle. And then it was extended, I guess, to all the wars. So now we I guess, memorialize all the people who died in any of the wars for this country. And, a lot of people don't even realize it. Most people just think it's a party day or a barbecue day. That's really. Do they have barbecues in Maine?
We're part of the country, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have barbecues up there.
Barbecues.
You do.
Yeah.
No, they don't have them up there.
Is it true that you're going to be inviting Sean Ray to your barbecue this Monday?
If he can make it on time, do you think he can make it on time?
He might be working on posing, helping some of his athletes pose. Oh, he doesn't have athletes, right?
No.
He's a reporter.
He's a reporter like 60 Minutes. He's a journalist.
Right. So, anyway, we had this great New York Pro weekend. Actually, Colleen is actually getting ready to go to Serge Javala's Natural Vitamins Mega Bash that he's got at his store. Where is that exactly?
That's in Brooklyn. Yeah.
And he's got, give me some of the names of the people he's got there.
I know John De La Rosa is going to be there. I know that Juan Morello is going to be there. I believe...
Will Victor be there?
He's supposed to be there.
He might still be at the clubs. It's possible, right?
If he's awake, yeah.
Well, he probably went right from the clubs to the appearance, I'm sure.
Could be, yeah. I know Guy Cisternino, Bethany Cisternino, and a bunch of others.
Well, I want to thank Bethany Cisternino because she was helping us with some play-by-play last night from the show, and she did a really good job, I understand.
She was doing a great job.
Chris Aceto obviously doing that with her. Now, are they giving away a lot of stuff there?
Yes, I believe all the vendors there are giving away free stuff. So come down and check it out and pick up some free stuff.
We love free stuff. We do love free stuff. Chris, we had a very, I guess you could say, monumental thing happen this past, weekend at the New York Pro. We haven't seen it in a long time. There's almost been what I would call a lack of excitement in the pro ranks of men's bodybuilding because it's kind of the same guys over and over.
Yeah.
You got these guys 40 years old and plus winning all the shows. Tony Freeman, Ed Nunn, who else? Give me some more names. Troy Alves, right. So, there's a lot of guys. We haven't really seen the new guard coming up and really dominating like we thought we would or we hoped we would. But all of a sudden now, we get this new guy out of nowhere, essentially. He has never done a pro show before. Mamdoa Elspaye, better known as Rami.
The Freaky Fisherman.
Who comes all the way from Kuwait. to do his first pro show here at the New York Pro, and the guy just decimates the competition. I mean, the guy's got to be close to 300 pounds on stage. He's as big, if not bigger, than Ronnie Coleman, at least that I can see. He really has good symmetry.
Yeah,
his conditioning is good. Maybe not as good as you and I would like, but very good, and to the point where striated glutes enough to dominate this lineup and beat I guess you can say a surging Victor Martinez, a much improving Juan Morel, and probably anyone in that top 5 could have won this show on any other year.
True.
And he has made a statement now that I'm here to stay, and you guys at the Olympia better watch out.
Yeah, you know what? He lived up to his hype. He was probably the most hyped guy going into a show in the last couple of years or so, and he lived up to it. And you know what? He's like the new Jay Cutler, meaning he's wide with the quads and huge and
white.
Yeah, and
Whitish.
Whitish.
He's not blonde hair, blue eyes
Caramel.
like Jay. He's not white.
Yeah, no.
Or Gunter, but he's freaky, and you know what?
He's massive. He's not freaky. He's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, to see, you really have to. I mean, hopefully.
You know what? I watched the videos and looked at the pictures. He looks more massive in real life than the picture captures.
He's pretty big in the video, too. I'm sure Johnny Styles is running that video right now, and I'm super impressed with this guy. And you know me, I don't really get too worked up over new guys, you know, that people are hyping and hyping. But I will say one thing: Dennis James did a great job with this guy. Number one, digging him up. Number two, getting him on stage in probably the best shape of his career. Because I saw when he won that amateur Olympia in Kuwait, where he got his pro card. He's a lot better and a lot bigger too.
Yeah. And how long ago was that? 9 months ago?
Yeah. Now the story is with this guy. I don't know if any of you guys on the panel know. He was a fisherman from Egypt. He's kind of got that Nasser look a little bit in the face. Yeah. He was a fisherman in Egypt. His family came over to Kuwait to find better, I guess, work and means. And he started working at a gym, wiping the sweat off of machines with a towel. So he was basically a towel boy.
Yeah.
And kind of like the Water Boy, if you ever see that movie with Adam Sandler. You know?
Same thing.
And he starts. No, it was the same. It's the same miracle story, really, if you think about it.
Thing.
And the guy starts working out, like in between wiping down the machines, and he just starts growing. Like I don't know, probably was eating 10 grams of protein a day, you know.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, 3.5 years later, I mean, it's only been 3.5 years supposedly that he's been training.
Wow.
He is now poised to potentially, and I say this potentially because I think he has the ability to win the Mr. Olympia title.
Yeah. You think he can do it this year?
I try to get Dennis James to commit to it, and Dennis James would say, "Well, I don't know if he's ready to win this year." But he didn't even want to say that he'd win this show, and I was like, "What are you nuts?" I said,
"Well, Dennis James, he did say he's going to move him out to Arizona with him." So,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's probably. I would say it's a good thing.
I think the further away from America you keep these guys, the better off they are. When they come here, it's all over. They get spoiled by the lifestyle here.
I mean, it might be a good thing. Just simply change.
Let him live on the houseboat he's on.
Okay, it's a bad thing.
I convinced you, right? I convinced you. No, look. Obviously, there's a lot more money to be made here, and he needs to learn to speak English, obviously, because to be Mr. Olympia, I really think you have to maybe be able to talk about it.
How's Dennis? I didn't ask Dennis. How do you communicate?
I heard George Farris is a translator.
Is a translator.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they used. I didn't know if George spoke Arabic. Actually, just used Google Translator.
No, I think the Crown Prince there, whoever that guy is who owns all the oxygen gyms, that seems to be more. He translates, but I don't know. Does Dennis speak? Dennis speaks like 5-6 languages.
He speaks.
There's probably a language in between that they both can communicate via. Yeah,
they can bridge it.
Maybe they speak Hebrew.
Yeah,
the two of them.
Aramaic.
Old Aramaic, exactly.
Google.
Exactly.
Picture book.
I mean, I got to think that Jay Cutler's got to be sitting home and looking at pictures of this guy, because obviously he wasn't there, watching the videos on RX Muscle, because we know Jay checks all our coverage out. And he must be saying to himself, what the hell? I'm in big trouble come the Olympia. Do you think he's thinking that?
Well, if he's not thinking of it, you're thinking of it, and I'm thinking of it, which means, people are probably thinking of it.
Phil Heath was sitting in that front row watching it, and he had to be, worrying.
If I was anyone competing in the Olympia, I would be, I'm a top 3, 4, 5 guy. I would be worried about it because of the crazy freak factor. And the dangerousness of this guy is that he's big and wide like Jay with big legs, and he has, for 288 pounds, 298 pounds, he has a small midsection, which is just, it's crazy.
It's almost unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard of. So at no time during prejudging would anyone say, oh, you're 288 pounds, make sure you pull that gut in. And here we were at the Arnold, and guys were like
Half
5th
the
and
size.
6th place and 4th, whatever. People's guts were all over the place at the Arnold. And this guy's got,
Well, you notice he's
flat
fresh.
stomach.
He's fresh. That's why too. He's only been doing this for a couple of years.
Oh, so the
And-
size comes in the gut after that?
Well, I think the gut comes later. Ronnie didn't have a gut when he first started. You know.
Even when he turned to the back, you can see everyone, exhaling out, and
you
his
can't
was
see it.
tight.
Yeah. You have a good point.
He's young too. I think when you're in your 20s, your skin is your
All
abdominal.
the stars
region.
are lining up then
Yeah.
for him. It seems like.
Look, like you said, a lot of these guys can say, "Oh, he's big, but he's got terrible shape."
Yeah.
Or, he's big, but his gut's hanging out.
Lonnie says he doesn't have calves.
Yeah, you lie deeper.
He text Dave this morning.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy with him.
Oh, he's a great and everything, but how come that people aren't mentioning he's got 0 calves? I'm like, the guy's got pretty big calves, you know. They're just maybe not big compared to his 80-inch quads, you know.
Yeah, it's relevant.
Yeah, so I think that he has to be considered a serious threat. I know no one wants to say that because they're saying, oh, it's only his first year, he's did one show, but he's that good.
freaky.
No, he is that good, and he will be in the mix at the Mr. Olympia. At worst case scenario, he'll be in the mix. Best case scenario, if he's a little bit sharper with a better tan, actually, which was like the only knock I had for him. He looked kind of
Could be a little
pale,
darker.
not pale, but just didn't have a good polish to like.
Could be darker.
Could be darker.
If he's in the first call out and he's like, you know what I mean? It's just war from the beginning.
But you know what it is? It's no one's even close to this guy, and how do you compare
That's
him
what I
to
mean.
anyone?
That's what I mean.
He's either the winner or he's last place. I mean, what do you put? How do you say? Well, he's 5th place because he's as hard as everyone else. He's bigger than everyone else. His shape is as good as everyone else. What doesn't he have?
He's new.
Yes, he's new, but you can't use that as an excuse if you're going to really judge the show properly.
No,
you know?
I mean he's new here, and
If-
did anyone not have him winning? Other than Sean Ray, I don't
Look,
think Sean had him.
let me ask Morgan something. You see Ronnie when he comes to Australia.
Yes.
The craziness. What are they going to do when this guy comes to Australia? Ronnie's going to lose all his money. They're going to throw all their money at this guy
He's
now.
got to learn to talk English first, or have a really good translator. But the Q,
Right? He'll go crazy. They'll go crazy in Australia for him. Tony Doherty will have him out there next year.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely after the Arnold. If he does the Arnold next year, Doherty will have him at that gym. He'll be flying him in on his own jet, probably.
make a lot of money off him.
Well, it's just people are going to want to see this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, look what we're doing right now. If I'm excited about this, that everyone watching this is now they're going to want to see him. Obviously,
for sure,
Chris.
for sure.
You got to see him up close too. He's impressive.
Yeah, he's really
And
impressive.
can you imagine what this guy probably looks like in the off season? What is he, like 350? I mean, what do you go up to if you're competing at 300, Chris? You got to gain 40 pounds, right?
Without a doubt,
That's only
yeah.
10% above. That's like 150 pounder going to 165.
I know.
Someone I know told me they gained like 30 pounds. Can you believe it? In like a week.
Morgan gained
After
30 pounds in one day.
did
She
you?
told us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a guy who's like
And
180
Sean A was
goes
still
up-
hitting on her.
Was he?
No.
Okay. Rumors say otherwise.
Inquiring minds want to
Yeah.
know. But yeah, so this guy is seriously dangerous. Now, I mean, you take a guy like Victor Martinez,
Yeah.
who everyone even I was going with Victor Martinez as my first pick, although I
Revised
actually,
it.
I said Juan actually, but and I still think Juan should have beat Victor. But everyone in the audience was thinking Victor's going to go home with the win, even though in the back of their mind they're thinking this guy's amazing,
Yeah.
Rami guy.
Yeah.
Victor looked very disappointed. I've never seen Victor so disappointed. I don't even think Victor was as disappointed when he lost the Olympia to Jay that year when he should have won.
Well, he's probably shocked. That case was probably just when you're numb from shockedness or whatever. It's I think here the disappointment is part of it is it's his hometown crowd.
Right.
And it's got the oddness of it that probably had to, and I'm speculating, play into it is you're getting beat by some quote kid who was 3 years ago looking like me. You know what I mean? Not training.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago was idolizing Victor Martinez. So there's just these weird ironies
Yeah.
that just
Yes,
play out.
that's an interesting point you make. Victor was the guy that he idolized.
And here, you just, it's surreal. So
I mean,
he's
Johnny
proud
got
of-
some
but it's
footage
his-
backstage of Victor, and he was very, very disappointed. And you know what? I don't know if it was as much as him saying, I guess if you came in second at the Olympia, you're the second best in the world. If you come in second at the New York Pro, one, essentially, you know what I mean? Although this lineup was probably one of the best lineups I've seen in recent memory, maybe ever. Ever.
Yeah, true.
Was, in your opinion, Ramy better here than when Nasser shocked the world and won the United Champions years ago?
That was when Nasser won the Night of the Champions the first time. I think he was better because he was just more, and he was better.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he was more crazy gnarly. I mean, Nasser from the front was dry as this and hard as a steel table. And although he just had a different translucent look to his torso.
I'd like to see a virtual pose down between the two.
Yeah, I'd love to see a virtual pose down. I wonder if we can
superimpose that. Maybe Johnny can do something with that.
And
yeah.
that's the year, Johnny, that let's see, it was 96?
Maybe we go to commercial
96,
break, Johnny.
96 when,
up, yeah.
I think it was 96 when NASA really just put on the size and
So what does Victor Martinez do now, Chris?
regroup.
I mean, he hasn't qualified for the Olympia. That's obviously the plan.
Of course.
I'm sure his sponsor, I know Gerard was there. He wants to see Victor go do the Olympia again. Victor is noticeably down in size. We've talked about this on the wrap-up. At this point, if he tries to go and do another show, does he have enough time to put the size back on? That's the question. Does he need to put the size back on?
I mean, he can rush into Toronto next week, which means
I don't think he can go to Toronto. If I can't go to Toronto, he ain't going to Toronto.
He's not getting in there.
No.
if he can't go to Toronto,
He already had an immigration problem. You don't want to mess with the Canadian government. I don't think.
Having said that, then that means he has to take some time. But it's there's no guarantees. I mean, he's his back is against the wall in terms of he's got to find a show that he can win, which obviously he can. But does he have time to to wait 6 or 7 weeks, kind of like hold steady, win that show? There's only 18 weeks to the Olympia.
Right.
And this would mean that he has to find the show, win the show. There's not a lot of time to build your body up and then bring it back down again. It's just all about going sideways. So there's really, if you take out Toronto, there's not a lot of time in the equation.
Yeah. Because even if he can win Chicago, say, I don't think there's any time for him to put the size back on to make a dent at the Olympia level.
No.
Looking like he did last night.
Did I say that?
Yeah. No, I'm reiterating.
Okay.
But I'm saying last night, looking like he did last night. Okay.
Yeah.
How does he place in that top group at the Olympia? Does he
Olympia?
make the top 5?
No.
I don't think so either.
In the lineup, though, when you see the pictures, him standing in between Juan and Ramy,
Yeah. He looks small.
he looked very small.
Let's talk about Juan Morel. Arguably
really good.
the best one
Really
I've
good.
ever seen.
Yeah, the best.
I was very happy with the outcome.
He should be.
I know Juan is happy with the outcome. I know he wanted to win, but a lot of people said, and even I think Jim Mannion said it was very close between Juan and
I
Victor.
didn't see the score sheets, but I would imagine that it was very close.
I mean, you could have put Juan second, and I don't think anyone would have complained.
I would
Outside's
agree.
Victor.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. The only thing Victor probably has on both of those guys is maybe his presentation is better.
Yeah.
Presentation's excellent.
He knows how to
He
maximize
still has
his
he
physique.
has the unique. He has lines that are unique compared to a lot of the other guys, and that's what probably distance him a little bit between him and Juan. But
Would Victor have won this show had he looked like he did, say right when he won the Arnold Europe 18 months ago? Or was he still not good enough to beat this Ramy guy? Because this is an important question. Because that was probably the best Victor we've seen recently. I don't think Victor can look like the Victor from 10 years ago.
God, that's a really good question. Then it becomes somewhat apples and oranges. I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's a
What do you
tough
think?
question. I don't know. I don't think he can. I think Ramy's that good.
Yeah. I think if the answer was yes, then I would have just said yes right away.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I think the only guy that can beat Ramy right now in the IFBB is Kai Green. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is no diss against Phil. If Ramy doesn't come in 100% and drier than he did here, he won't beat Phil just because Phil's the reigning Mr. Olympia. But Phil don't have the freak factor of this Ramy, but Kai Green does.
Yeah.
If Kai Green comes in peeled, crazy, like he won the Arnold Classic in 2009,
Yeah.
I think he beats Ramy.
Yeah.
I'm a Kai
because
fan.
He was
I know you're a Kai
He was
fan.
big in 2009. He was big and gnarly in 2009.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to take to beat beat this guy is.
But you have to have there's a freak factor that's necessary, like that Ronnie Coleman-ish, freak factor. Because I think Ronnie at his best in 2003 beats Rami.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
What about Haney at his best? Does he beat Rami?
Haney?
Haney, yeah.
What was Haney's best last year or something?
Yeah,
Who
absolutely.
knows? Front double bicep
91.
was still. I don't think who knows? I don't know.
It's a tough one,
It's
right?
a tough question because you know what?
Probably Haney, but I'm just saying it's close. He's second, right?
Yeah.
He's second.
Yeah, you're right.
Labrada doesn't beat Rami.
No. Looked like a flea.
John De La Rosa finishes in 4th place. I think he was very happy with that. He is going to Toronto next week. I predict he'll probably win there.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else going there.
He may win.
Yeah.
If it's the same group of people.
Dennis James. If I were Dennis James, I'd send Rami everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I'd just clean the whole clean up everywhere.
Why not?
Send him up to Toronto next week. What does he got to lose?
If he overeats him, he'll probably look. You know what I mean? They'll say you hold in water, but you're 310.
That's right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna. No disrespect to John De La Rosa, a great bodybuilder, but I mean you're 310.
Yeah.
He legitimately could be 310 next week.
And win
With a small midsection.
Yeah. Speaking of
midsection.
last minute Toronto entries, Jose Raymond in the 212 class.
FedEx. Jose Raymond.
You call him FedEx?
I call him FedEx.
Yeah. He drives down. Actually, this is a true story for those of you who might be listening. If you watch the live feed from 2 days ago, you probably know. But Jose actually texted you.
Yeah.
This was Friday night or Friday afternoon.
We were right here. We just finished doing the 212.
Yeah, it was like Friday afternoon, and he's like, "Should I do the New York Pro?"
3:45.
Steve Weinberg called me and asked me to do it because I guess his guest posing was canceled.
His guest posing got put aside.
And you and I said, "Why not?" He sent pictures and he did it.
I actually texted him back and said, "Who can beat you?" Because I wanted to see if he'd flinch on the answer. If he was worried about it, I knew his head wouldn't be there. And he said, "No one."
At the time, Kevin English might have been able to beat him. If Kevin English dropped out of the show, we don't know why. Obviously, I suspect, just because I hadn't heard from him in weeks and weeks and weeks, that he was completely out of shape or not good enough up to Kevin's specs. Because he's won the Olympia
twice. 3 times,
He's won the New York Pro 3 times. He really had to be at 100% at this show, or he was not going to win the show. And I think he knew that, and I'm sure that's why he probably had to pull out, or maybe who knows what happened. But I mean, putting Kevin English aside, because Jose obviously didn't know if English was going to be in the show, there really wasn't anyone he couldn't beat there.
Correct.
The only wild card was kind of this Erin Clark kid, and who by himself looks amazing. When we saw him next to Jose and when we saw him next to Samuel Haddad, he didn't look quite as big as they were.
Exactly.
Which I don't know how that could be because he's I guess Jose's like 4 inches shorter than him, right?
Yeah. Well, Jose just unique amongst, he's crazy thick.
Are you taller than Jose Morgan?
No, I'm 5'0".
Oh, you're 5'0".
Come on, Dave. You're making
don't
fun of
follow
me
either.
again.
What about
Heels,
heels?
though. Killed it.
You did kill him with heels. There you go. There you go. So Jose comes down to the last minute.
Yep.
The night before. He was in the gym working out the day before.
That's
So
right.
much for taking off from the gym, right?
That's right.
You know how they say, "Oh, don't train legs, don't do this. You got to harden up."
He did on Wednesday before the Saturday show. He did
legs.
He did. What you told me? He did 405 for 15 reps. He said his legs were killing him on Friday.
Oh, really?
In pain, from the workout.
Well,
I remember he said he wanted to do cardio tomorrow. Today.
Which is-
Today,
yes.
actually.
I stepped in. I
Another
trumped
executive
over.
decision.
I trumped.
Veto.
over.
Yeah.
I
Have the
trumped
day
his
off.
coach.
Have the day off.
I trumped Chris Aceto before Chris said
veto power.
Opened his mouth up. I said, "What are you nuts?"
Yeah. I said, "Yeah, go do the cardio." You said, "No, you're not doing
Nuts.
cardio." I
What are you-
said,
what are you
Dave said,
doing?
"Don't do it. Don't do it."
Yes, and Chris said, "Don't do it."
I think I was tired at that point. And I just wanted to eat my hamburger.
Yeah, you didn't even care. He could have
And
said,
your meal vouchers.
You could have said, "I'm going to go run a marathon." You'd be like, "All right, have fun. Make sure you get home and go to sleep." So Jose comes down the last minute, wins the 212 class, beating a very good Samuel Haddad. We have to give the guy credit. It's the best I've seen him. He looked like he added mass to his body.
He did.
His conditioning was good. He really maximized his physique,
Maxed.
which is really a testament to how good Jose Raymond is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did anyone try to steal Jose from you backstage?
No one's tried to steal him since India.
Oh, okay. Hani tried to steal him in India?
No, Pinocchio.
Oh. I was going to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
Well, you didn't give it away.
We don't go by a script here.
Right. That's true.
So getting back to Jose.
Yes.
So no, Jose, we did the 212 prediction show.
Sure.
Live, and then we had to redo it.
Amended.
We had to do an amendment, and I think I arrogantly said, "You said how's Jose gonna land in the show, being that he only prepared for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said, somewhere between first and first.
Yeah.
And that wasn't me. That was Jose said, I'm coming down and I'm going to win it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, if he's going to win it, then
Yeah.
I'm going to make the prediction that he's going to get between first and first.
Samuel Haddad very upset after the show. Well, he was. I think he was running around after.
He was
pre-judging,
talking a
telling
big
everyone,
game, dude.
Yeah, that he
You
was
know
going to
what?
win.
He's talking a big game coming in.
But you know what? I blame George for that, his coach, because George probably was blowing his head up. Because Sammy's like a really down to earth guy, at least the Sammy that I know. Very humble, and George probably blew his head up that he won the show after the prejudging. So he probably thought George must know, right? George knows.
Yeah, but coming into the show, he
Yeah.
was, coming into the show, he was coming to lay claim to
Oh, is
what
that what he
was
said?
rightfully his.
Well, that
the
I
year
believe.
before.
I believe that was George blowing his head up. on that one.
So he didn't know that a 5-footer weighing 209 was going to be,
Is Sammy in next week's Toronto show too?
I don't know, but I don't know if he's going to be there. Originally, Jose was saying, was thinking maybe English will win if English
Right.
comes in at his best, and he'd have to meet Sammy in Toronto. So
So
it's changed
Sammy
a
still
little
may
bit.
do Toronto
Yeah.
to try to qualify.
He may.
But if Jose's there, I can't imagine him being. He's got to be better.
He's got a
than he
whole
was
week.
here.
He's not going to be FedEx. He's going to be UPS. He can get a package there in a week.
Yeah,
He's got a whole another week.
sending him ground,
sending
right?
him ground transportation. Yeah, he'll be better by next Saturday.
Mark Dugdale finishes in the third spot. Chris, good decision.
I probably would have given the edge. I would have given the edge to Erin Clark.
I thought Erin Clark really looked good.
I think that Dugdale is very impressive, and but he doesn't have the detail and crisp muscularity that Erin Clark had.
Conditioning, essentially, yeah.
And I personally would think that he probably going into the night show would probably think that he's in fourth, not third.
Yeah, I agree.
So Erin Clark is probably pretty surprised when his name was not called, thinking that you had Erin on the radio show and I didn't listen to it, but
Yeah.
he had to think that he was the favorite coming in.
I don't think so.
Well,
He
a
was
favorite,
very
a favorite.
he was very humble about the whole thing. He's like, look, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go down to 212, especially. Very good decision considering Rami was in the open class.
Jeez.
You know what? I got news to you. If I saw Rami on the competitor list, I wouldn't even do the show anymore, no matter what show it is. But I don't think we'll see Rami in another show other than the Olympia and the Arnold for the rest of his career, probably, unless he does a Grand Prix somewhere. You know what I mean?
There's a Dubai Grand Prix next year. After
Oh, there is?
Olympia, yeah.
Well, he'll
I think it's
definitely be there.
$100,000 first prize.
Well, I'm sure we'll be there.
So
We probably see
what
him
about
in India.
a kind of a homecoming, even though he's not from Dubai, but
Yeah.
like tri-state area.
I'm sure we'll see him in India too. Sharu is backstage
going nuts.
at the show. He was like licking his chops looking at Rami. I'm sure he's going to get Rami. He probably had him sign a contract backstage if I know him.
Yeah.
So Erin Clark finishes in the fourth spot with Marco Rivera from New York in fifth. Marco Rivera's wife won the Bikini Pro.
Yeah.
So
Two
Yashira Varelbelez.
Two dieters in the same household.
And that's pretty
So good.
amazing. Yeah, that was very impressive. And of course, our favorite, you got your little species shirt on here, Candace Keene wins the figure
Very happy, very
New York
happy.
Pro. She beats Nicole Wilkins, who has to settle for third place. What does this mean for the Olympia, Chris?
It means that Candace Keene is going to go in there and smoke it. I would think so.
agree.
You know what?
She's got to be the favorite.
Yeah.
She's on a roll.
She's got the. You know what? You have to have a head for any sport or any act. You know what I mean? She's got the head for it.
Yeah. Well,
I
she's
mean,
on her. She's
she
on
does
a
it
roll
for the
now,
right
yeah.
reasons. She doesn't think ever about her competition. She's not trying to be better than anyone else. She's trying to be the best that she can be. She's got an okay sponsor.
The best.
No, I mean, she knows what she's got to do to continue to win, and
She's hungry, very hungry for it.
Yes, and she's athletic. You know, she's an athlete. She'll be ready.
How about Swan Cardot from originally from France by way of New Jersey? Now I think she's living obviously in New
Audience
Rochelle
loved
because
her. Audience loved her.
Did John De La Rosa and her get engaged this weekend?
Yes, they did. Yes, congratulations,
Wow.
guys.
Woo.
That's pretty impressive. So there's another couple we have
Yeah,
here.
a lot of dieting couples.
Swan Cardot, who wasn't even a pro last year, beats Nicole Wilkins her first time out. I mean, how impressive is that? I mean, for her, that's a real feather in her cap.
Yeah, it sure is.
Speak-
What's Wilkins do from here?
Call Chris Aceto to get in shape.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I wish I did. You know what I mean?
I thought she was
I
very
don't
lucky
know
to
what
get
to
third.
do.
Very lucky to get third.
I think she's on the Morgan Hayward diet.
She started it tonight.
Are you taking her out to eat at night? No, I don't know what her problem is. She's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
She's
Structure.
got structure from God, gave her this crazy structure, and she can't get in shape.
Probably too many shows over the years, just
No,
taking a toll on her body.
Maybe.
I think there's something with her body.
Dieting,
Maybe
not
who's
dieting,
ever, I don't know.
dieting, not dieting.
No,
You know,
maybe
It's a toll on you.
she hasn't found the diet that works yet. It's obvious because we've never seen her in shape. We've never seen her in really good shape. It's a problem for her. You know what? And who knows? She might have some eating issues. I don't know. You know,
Too much pressure or something. Midnight donuts. Who knows?
Midnight donuts. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it.
I don't know where she goes.
Are you a night eater, Chris?
I'm not an eater at all.
Yeah, I know
you
you're
saw
not.
what I ate before.
I
we
thought
came
maybe
here.
you ate at night.
I had a crazy appetite. I ordered this big
was
burger and
bitching
fries.
about
I
how
was
hungry he
starving,
was, yeah.
and I ate half of it. I couldn't get through it. I need some. What did Dan Duchesne used to recommend? The
Periactin.
Periactin. I knew you're like a little encyclopedia. Before there was Google, there was you.
Yeah, now people don't need me.
That's how you
Now
became-
people don't need me anymore.
No, that's how.
Yeah.
That's right. People would like, you have Dave Palumbo's number? Yeah, here it is. Well, I have a question from some guy from, he doesn't speak English, but you'll get it. He'll answer it for you. Now they can just Google it.
That's right. Men's Physique. Cederick Mcmillian from New York here.
Yeah.
Actually from Westbury, right? Near Little
Yeah,
Italy.
yeah.
I think he
Feels
lives around the
amazing.
corner from the studio. The cockiest guy I ever know. But I get along really well with him. But he says that's his shtick.
His shtick. He's
Yeah.
like Vinny the Chin
Yeah.
of. Is he? Like cocky.
He's Vinny the shtick of Men's Physique.
Yeah.
I hate
Look,
egos.
I like him because he's got a bodybuilder's physique, and he's turned pro at 176. He's almost 198 pounds now, and he looks good on stage. Actually, I'm getting a signal from Johnny. We actually have a caller on the line, Chris. Our first caller.
International or?
I don't know.
See how we go.
Can we play it?
Is it?
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, you're calling
Hi.
into the first ever heavy muscle radio show live. Lower your radio. I feel like Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, we are here. Ask your question. You're all live on the air. Turn off your computer volume. Talk to us directly into
My
the
name
phone.
is Andrew.
Andrew, where are you from?
He just lagged. Huh?
All right, Johnny, get rid of him. If you're listening to us, you got to turn off your volume on your computer when you call in. Otherwise, there's a lag. So just talk to us directly into the phone. If you want to call back, you call back. So anyway, we're talking about Cederick Mcmillian. I think he's got to be considered one of the favorites now, along with Mark Anthony, obviously, along with second place finisher Anton Antipov. I like his physique too, going into the Olympia for Men's Physique in September.
What's the prize money for the men's at the Olympia? The men's fitness, men's physique.
I don't know. That's
men's
good. I have to
physique.
call Robin Chang on that
Tanning
one.
for the year. Who knows?
No, I'm curious because
They got to have some money put up for that.
Yeah.
Olympia usually puts
Yeah.
up some good money.
yeah,
Maybe $10,000. I don't know.
yeah, it's got to be at least. I mean, just
What is I think the 212 guys get what, about $10,000?
Yeah, I think about $10,000. I asked that only in the context of
Maybe $15,000. I don't know.
there's just so many.
I'm speaking on my
competitors.
butt. I don't even know what I'll have to ask Robin Chang for the president.
You know,
All right, we got him back on the air. All right, Andrew, where you from?
I'm from Las Vegas.
Ooh, Jake
All right,
Wonderland.
what's going on there in Las Vegas? Is the weather better than here?
The weather is awesome out here.
All right, who's your question to, and what is your question?
Actually, my question is for Dave and Chris. And I wanted to know about Rami. A lot of people on the boards were saying that he used synthol.
Well, he must have syntholed his whole body then, because he's absolutely enormous. Chris, I think I could speak to this because, people can say maybe he's all shot up, but if you look at his structure, he's so huge. He doesn't have, if you look at him up close too, you don't even see one little pimple on his skin. He doesn't have any injection sites. He has no lumps in his body. I got to disagree with that comment, and I got to say this guy's just massive. Chris?
I disagree because I saw a picture of him from last night that someone had showed me, and it was with another bodybuilder, and he looked like he actually was in one of those muscle suits. I'm serious. That's how crazy he looked.
Yeah, you're
it
right.
didn't look.
Round.
Nothing looks when you see him in real life backstage. Nothing looks like weird or funky. He just looks.
Huge.
He looks like he's the Michelin Man, minus with no gut.
Because if you look at his whole body, his legs are even all. I mean, everything fits. It's all symmetrical, and it looks.
Lonnie Tieper said he should put it in the calves. I guess since he has no calves.
He has
put
no
it in the
calves.
money.
But I think, I think that he's the real deal, this guy. I'm impressed. You know what I mean? Like, Chris and I don't get excited or impressed over many people. But when you look at this guy in person, he's even more impressive.
I
like
wish
you
he'd
said.
go away because I help people in the Olympia.
Yeah.
You know? He's a threat.
He could be a 10-time Mr. Olympia winner, assuming he doesn't get hit by a car. And if he does, the car may be in more trouble than he is, to be honest. And that's how big he is. So, thanks for calling in, though. All right. We got rid of him. All right. Let's talk about women's physique.
Yes.
We had the two first and second place in the studios live for the Heavy Muscle TV show on Thursday. Juliana Malacarni, Karina Nascimento. We predicted correct. It was a two-woman battle. Karina, I thought, was going to maybe edge out Juliana, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I like her presentation.
A lot
Very
of people
sexy.
liked
You like the
way
sexiness,
she-
right?
Love it.
As a woman, who would you rather look like?
That's a good question.
Karina.
I would say closer to my physique.
Well, you look
Just
more like
Juliana
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm so stocky
Yeah.
and short.
I think
But
I
I
was
do
gonna-
much prefer Karina. She's more streamlined, and I like how she presents herself. Beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I am stocky like Juliana.
Karina does have a lot more stage experience than Juliana in the bodybuilding realm. Because remember, Juliana was a figure competitor. Actually, she was a fitness competitor.
Yes.
Went to figure, turned pro in that, and then she was competed in figure for a couple 5 years. So I think that Juliana will come into her own. Chris, I know you really are big on Juliana Malacarni. What do you like about her?
I like that she's got a resemblance in some odd way to Linda Murray, meaning she's got capped shoulders, capped triceps, nice thighs, and
She looks like a real bodybuilder.
yeah, she's very muscular and she's very pretty. That said, she's my preference, but I could go with
Karina.
Karina just as well. I mean, Karina's got a fabulous physique. I think Karina's actually, is she leaner? I think in some areas.
I think a little leaner.
A little leaner, which I like too, because she can get
And the
away with.
glutes.
She's not leaner with. She's leaner, but doesn't look stringy. Lena doesn't.
I
look
think her
strung out and-
presentation makes her look even better.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
really
yeah,
shows,
definitely, yeah.
and
On
she
stage.
works the crowd. You fall
think
in love
it's
with
she
her.
works the hair.
You fall in
You
love
do,
with her
exactly.
watching her
She's
pose.
so sexy. Yeah.
I mean, you as a woman, I would want to be her on stage because you're like, if
Damn.
I can translate who I am the way she does.
Exactly.
It's like watching someone on Broadway almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful performance.
It really is.
Well, there's going to be a rematch, right?
there will be.
There's going to be a rematch.
At the Olympia,
I
there
will
certainly
be.
will be.
Juliana
Yeah.
looks a lot
It'll
bigger
be
though.
interesting.
Somebody from the boards can't call in. Her
Okay.
name is Amanda Dunbar.
Oh, I know Amanda. Hey, Amanda.
Okay. She wants Dave to address the question, which is, where is women's physique going now? Is the rule going to be more muscle, very lean, as you're, more feminine on stage? She wants you and Chris to answer this
All right.
question.
Chris, I'm going to speak to Amanda Dunbar first because Amanda Dunbar turned pro, I believe, at the 05 USA Championships, and I think the look that she brought to the stage there is what they really want in women's physique at this point, which is a pretty look, small waist, good shape.
Yeah.
That Corey Everson look, really.
Yeah.
I mean, probably
Yeah,
Corey
yeah,
at her
yeah,
biggest
yeah.
is what they want now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say, and I just.
I don't even think Juliana really is that physique. I think that Juliana just has the shapes, the nice
Yes,
shapes.
yes,
I
yes,
think that
yes.
if you got someone that had more of an X frame,
I agree.
they would even be better than
They'd be
her.
more high on her.
Yeah.
I would. I mean,
I think Amanda Dunbar, not to kiss your ass because you called him, but you put, with you and your bodybuilding shape would be probably at least top 3 in the world. That's the shape, that X shape,
Yeah.
with the tiny waist.
Yeah. When I
can't beat
think of a lot of times when I think of women's physique, I think of how would Anya Schreiner do? She was way too small for women's bodybuilding, but she
Yes.
still had a couple times she came in really pretty tight.
Yeah.
With
She's
good-
even too small, maybe.
Yeah, she probably is now.
Right,
Yeah.
for women's physique.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd do well. I don't know if she would be like the Olympia champ.
Yeah, it's still playing out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I keep saying, it's my opinion. Like when we see the Rami, meaning the wow, that's it.
Yeah.
We're all gonna, and we don't know, who that is yet, but that's gonna be the template for wow, that's perfect for women's physique.
I think women's physique is a reboot now of women's bodybuilding. I said it 100 times already,
Yeah,
but
you've used that word a lot.
yeah, it's a reboot. It's like these new Spider-Man movies that are
Even
coming
more.
out. I think what they're doing is they're saying we kind of let bodybuilding get out of hand. This is what it should be. Because we don't want they don't want women's physique to be figure
Yeah, because they got figure.
girls that are just more conditioned. Because that's not enough. It looks the same then. It's just figure girls posing.
Are they going to make a certain size limit, though?
I think
They are getting more impressive each time.
if it looks good and the girl is pretty, they'll accept it. If they don't,
I think so.
these girls are going to place last. So if the girls start taking stuff they shouldn't and start ruining the femininity just to get more muscle because they think they need to be as big as Juliana Malacarne, then guess what? You're going to wind up in the gutter. And so I advise the women to stay feminine, take your time putting the muscle on in the right areas, in the right place, and be patient. How long does it take, putting Rami aside, how long does it take most bodybuilders to actually get to the pro level, Chris? 10 years? Aside from the 7
If you want real quality and real body, 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. So it might take women physique competitors 5 years to come into their own where they're challenging for the Olympia title.
Yeah. I would
Now,
agree with that.
some of the women bodybuilders who didn't get out of hand actually might have an advantage because they already got that muscle.
True.
I think we got a caller, Chris. Let's get him on the air. Who do we got? Turn off your computer sound and just talk directly into the phone to us, please.
I'll turn it off.
What's your name first?
It's Vince Goodrum.
Oh, it's Vince Goodrum. My good friend Vince Goodrum. What would be your question for Chris and I or the panel?
Well, I have a question about the 212 division because I know everyone's talking about Randy. I'm trying to get a clarification as to how the blacksmith was able to be defeated by Jose Raymond. Are we going to size now over symmetry or so forth?
Well, I can let Chris address it, but I just want to say one thing. I think Jose Raymond has good symmetry. He's got a small waist. He's got a tremendous vacuum pose. I think they both have good symmetry. Does Sammy have slightly nicer lines? Maybe because he's a little taller. But I think that it is a bodybuilding show after all, and muscle counts for something, Chris.
Yeah, that sums it up. I think the real question is how did Jose beat your favorite? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's, what, here's the bottom line is Sammy is absolutely spectacular when he first comes out by himself. And actually this is the best he's looked for sure. But after that, there's certain poses in real life that he has a slender look to his physique that doesn't necessarily show up, I think, on video and pictures. But watching the prejudging, I just thought that Jose was more dense, more hard, more grainy, more to his body.
It was close.
Yeah, what?
I mean,
I have
you
to
could make
say
an
that.
argument for
Yes.
Sammy. I mean, I'm not saying that it was a blowout. It wasn't a Rami blowout by any means.
I will.
Yeah, he only won by like
1 point.
It was less than. It was less than. When you think about it, it was.
Can you repeat that, Vince? We kind of missed the last of what you said.
Right.
God, what's?
I think he's getting arrested. All right, cut him off. We don't like cops.
Keep in mind that they judged this show. They pulled out. This is how close it was. Jose and Sammy by themselves twice in prejudging.
Yeah.
Twice at the night show, and when they didn't know at the night show, this is when I thought Jose clearly.
Jose clinched it at night, I think.
They put him through the quarter turns, which they never even put him through, which means there was no.
How come they never put the 212 guys through the quarter turns? They didn't do it at the Olympia last year.
Did they do it at the Open here? They put them through the quarters?
The Open.
I mean the men's Open.
Yeah, they did that.
I don't know.
Maybe the 212 doesn't have to do that.
But it was close.
Well, anyway, we were talking about women's physique. I just want to mention Toni West, who comes in third. She won the NPC Nationals this past year. Much harder at the Nationals. I think that she made a mistake coming in here a little softer. Yeah. She told me she looked really hard 2 weeks ago. She'll be back. I think she's doing Toronto next week. I wouldn't be surprised. And I know Juliana's not, so I wouldn't be surprised maybe if she wins up there. I'm not sure if Karina's going up there or not. Probably taking the week off, I would think. So Toni West can be another girl that can challenge for this title.
Very good.
She might need to add a little bit more muscle. I like her physique though. Yeah. She's got the X factor. She's got some pretty. She's got the attractiveness. Yeah. She's got the stage presence. Needs to be harder. They're obviously looking for conditioning. Thank the Lord they're looking for conditioning. Because if I have to see one more figure girl on stage, I'm gonna. It just doesn't. You got to separate the two divisions.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
What happens to women's bodybuilding, Chris?
Women's bodybuilding continues, as the way it has been. Meaning,
But what if there's no farm system anymore? What if you're not getting the amateurs anymore? Everyone's doing women's physique, it seems. I mean, at some point
question.
you have to say, well, when's enough? You know?
Yeah. Well, you know,
Do you let Iris win 10 Miss Olympias and then you say, all right, let's pack it in, or do you keep going until there's no one left?
I don't know the answer. I
It's
thought it through.
It's a tough decision because I like women's bodybuilding, but
Yeah.
it's tough.
I haven't thought it through, and if if the new competitors are not there at the local level, you know, state level, how's it going to be sustained? I would imagine there's always going to be women who want to be hardcore bodybuilders, so that there'll always be some type of farm system, but it's going to be dramatically limited.
You might go to one weight class at the amateur level, and then just one weight, you know, the one at the pro, and that's it, you know, and it just becomes more of a cultish type of thing, and it's possible. Hey, you know, guys, we got to take a commercial break because we got to let our sponsors be heard. Before we go, I want to just throw out a little trivia question, which we're going to also ask on Muscle in the Morning. The question is, who is the guru that has now got the nickname Pinocchio, given to him by Dennis James? If anyone knows this question, there is an RX Muscle T-shirt on the line for that.
T-shirt, and I'll throw in a week in Miami Beach.
At his condo. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Iron Mag Labs is the leading supplement company offering the most hardcore pro-anabolic supplements. Visit IronMagLabs.com and check out our top-selling products. Asta RX, Halo Extreme, Sinustain RX, E-Control RX, Decadrol Max, Ultra Male RX. Iron Mag Labs makes supplements that actually work. No hype, no BS, just real results. There's a reason you keep hearing about Iron Mag Labs. Come see what you're missing. Visit Iron Mag Labs at IronMagLabs.com for the most hardcore bodybuilding supplements.
Formostanzol is an amazing compound that should be part of every cycle, not only for muscle gains and fat loss, but for longevity and health. Formostanzol is one of the world's most potent aromatase inhibitors. Use Formostanzol for on-cycle estrogen and progesterone control, as a standalone anabolic fat-burning agent, and during post-cycle therapy. Are you using Muscle Research's revolutionary transdermal Formostanzol? Available at MrSups.com with free shipping.
Every bodybuilder scours the supplement world looking for the secret of how to get huge and ripped. Well, what if I told you there's a product that'll give you a year's worth of gains in mere weeks? I bet I have your attention now. Let me introduce you to Methyl S, Ion Tech Labs' brand name for pure, uncut methylstenbolone. If you seek strength and massive size gains, Methyl S promises just that. And no conversion to estrogen, so no gynecomastia. That's right, no chance of growing male breasts or bitch tits. No estrogen also means no bloating. And Methyl S is the strongest legal pro-hormone on the market. It's comparable to the strength and mass building effects of the powerful oral anabolic steroids Anadrol and Dianabol. Sound too good to be true? Well, try Methyl S for yourself. Go to www.iontechlabs.com for the most powerful legal designer steroid of all time. Order your bottle of Methyl S today at iontechlabs.com.
All you need is one more peptide company, right? That's what I said too till I was introduced to hardcorepeptides.com. Have you ever wondered what was really in your research chemicals? I have. But with Hardcore Peptides, they take pride on their exact measurements and high quality ingredients. If you are doing research, do it with hardcorepeptides.com. Use the discount code PJ20 for 20% off hardcorepeptides.com.
Quest Bars from Quest Nutrition is Dave Palumbo's favorite protein bar. It's the only bar that's not simply a candy bar in disguise. There's no sugar or sugar alcohols, no soy, and zero trans fat. Quest Bars contain only the highest grade protein from whey and milk protein isolates. Quest Bars are also the lowest carb bar available, only 4 to 5 grams, and they all come from nuts. Quest Bars are also gluten-free. Quest Bars were specifically made for people who are serious about their physiques and who want the highest quality ingredients. Best of all, they taste great. Learn more about Quest Bars by visiting questproteinbar.com and try them out for yourself. Check out questproteinbar.com now. Tad the Diet Coach, contest prep guru for bodybuilding, bikini, physique, and figure. Go to tadthedietcoach.com, an expert on nutrition and exercise science with over 20 years experience in fitness and bodybuilding. Tad the Diet Coach offers a complete scientific and individually focused contest prep or a full off-season plan that is custom tailored for your own unique needs. This kind of diet coaching is a premium coaching service that includes weekly conference calls, individually based diet and supplement plans, specific cardio and workout schedules, and constant contact during the contest prep or off-season process. Tad the Diet Coach, author of the Diet Recipe Cookbook, and also the creator of the Coach's Choice Whey Protein Isolate, which is the absolute best tasting premier isolate on the market. Tad the Diet Coach will get you to the next level. Go now to tadthedietcoach.com or send an email to info@tadthedietcoach.com.
This is IFBB Pro Troy Alves. You listen to Heavy Muscle Radio, the truth in bodybuilding.
Welcome back. We are back from commercial break. I'm Dave Colombo, sitting here with Chris, the technician, Aceto, and Morgan Hayward to his left. Chris, there was another show this weekend, in addition to the New York Pro, it was the Cal State Figure Pro. Another pro show, I should say. Mm-hmm. And Camila Rodriguez won this show. Now, Camila Rodriguez was a fitness pro, if you remember. I always thought she had a great routine. I don't know why she switched to figure, but she did, and she successfully did so, winning the show here in California. Louis Uridel was there covering that. He interviewed her and did all the wrap-up with Tad the Diet Coach. You can check all that coverage out on rxmuscle.com. Allison Fraun was second, and Kim Shepard third. So we have a lot of coverage around the country. We're on the East Coast. We got Louis on the West Coast. But I understand we got some – do we have people on the line, Johnny? If anyone who was on the line before you want to call back, you can call back because Chris has got to go to the airport. And I can't let him miss his flight or then his wife doesn't let him go out and play anymore. So, Chris, I got a good question. You know how I drive very fast, and I'm going to get you to the airport very quickly. I have a quote. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, okay, it says the faster you go, the slower time unfolds for you.
The faster you go, the slower time.
Yeah. So time slows down the faster you go.
Yes.
So, and nobody has enough time. We're always rushing, if you notice, everywhere we go. I know you rush, I rush. So I figure it this way. If I'm doing 150 miles per hour, okay, I'm actually aging slower than all these idiots who are driving in the slow lane are. Think about that.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm zipping around 150, then everyone else is aging more than I am. So I'm actually, it's anti-aging, according to Einstein's theory of relativity. So I could actually get younger as you guys get older.
So what?
Anti-aging.
Just check your cortisol levels.
New study.
I'm trying to think of it
in
a different perspective, but you stumped me on it, actually.
Does it sound the logic sound?
No, the logic is, that's why I'm trying to wrap my head around the logic. Maybe it's too big for me to understand. I'm not smart enough.
Yeah, you're not.
I had enough caffeine yet.
I want to just read something else too. I was in the diner. Remember we were eating in the diner? We always go to the Gee Whiz Diner after the New York shows because it's right down the block. And I was looking at the menu, and they actually had wines listed there. And my favorite red wine is Malbec, and a lot of people don't know what Malbecs are. And they actually had I guess you could say, definitions of what the different wines were. And I love the way they describe a Malbec. Because I was always trying to think of people ask me, what does a Malbec taste like? And I'm trying to think of it. And this was I actually took a picture of it. And here's the description. An inky and dense with attractive blackberry aromas and a touch of cinnamon and a sweet spice with a long, full finish. It almost sounds
like a mature wine.
It almost sounds like a porn movie, doesn't it? I mean, of course you're gonna like. How can you not like a Malbec? I mean, it sounds like you're gonna have an orgasm, from all the flavors and aromas and tastes in there. So, guys, if you want to try a good red wine, Malbec might be for you. Now, Chris, we have the Toronto Pro Show coming up next weekend. The question is, will Chris Aceto be there?
I don't think I'm going to be making that to Toronto.
You won't?
It's not due to a visa issue. It's just a domestic issue that I have at home.
Right. You're not allowed.
I just, how much can you run around?
Yeah. Is Jose upset that you're not going to be there?
Well, you saw him last night at the diner. He said, "I'll see you on Wednesday," and I'm like,
you will?
Yeah, and you always go up like 14 days early too. You always get there a week before too.
I'm the new FedEx. You just go. Just do it at the last minute.
Yeah. Well, we got a caller on the line. I want to get to the call because this is our only live call-in show. So let's see what these people want. Yes, caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Turn down your computer and just talk into the phone, please.
Is this Dave Palumbo?
This is Dave Palumbo. Who are we talking to? You got a name? Maybe not. Did we lose him? I guess we lost him.
Maybe an international bad
Maybe
connection.
when he heard my name, he got all shaking in his boots. Maybe he really wanted to talk to Morgan Hayward.
Maybe it was someone in disguise.
Morgan, what was the response to you at the show? Because no one really knows who you are, but they maybe kind of do know who you are because they've seen you on the TV show.
Nothing.
No?
I was just
Did you have any
around.
fans?
I was cruising around.
I heard you had a fan take a picture with you. Is that true?
I had a couple of creepy guys.
Yeah, the stalker, right?
Just creepy?
There's a couple, they're always, even at shows back home, there's a couple of creeps, photo.
That's a good thing. If no one wants to take a picture with you, then you're really not too important.
Well, we were at the diner just this morning, speaking of notoriety, and a guy didn't look like he worked out anything, came up to you and said, what?
I love your protein.
Yeah.
That was a compliment. I told you. That was. It's always good when someone who's
Chocolate
like
peanut
not
butter.
Context, not at a bodybuilding show.
Chocolate peanut butter. What's the new flavor we got coming out, Morgan?
Cinnamon donut.
She gave it away.
How about Malbec?
Malbec. You're gonna call
father would like it.
that's a good one. A Malbec carbonized. How about that?
Why not?
There you go. Now, guys, if you want to call, we got 5 minutes left. I got to take this guy to the airport.
Got to get to the airport.
So he can't not miss his flight. If he misses his flight, his wife will never let him go out again.
You'll never see him again, ever.
I guess it's funny because this show is going to be a little different, but I will record with Aaron Chewbacca-Singman probably a little later for the Heavy Muscle radio show that will go up.
We have a quote of the
radio-wise.
day. You have a quote of the week?
I had a quote of the week. Yes, I do have a quote of the day. It's from Bob Marley, actually.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Here's the quote. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for. Chris, is that true?
Yeah, you got to pick your, absolutely. It means to me that, any relationship, friendship, or intimate relationship, you're going to get hurting.
Yeah.
And and that's why it's so painful because you think you're so close. This is my best friend, or this is my wife, or my spouse, or my significant other. And some people aren't worth hanging in there for, and other people who are we're not perfect, and because they're worth suffering for. They're worth hanging in there for.
Go ahead. What's your
What you gotta say
interpretation,
is the juice worth the squeeze?
As they say in Australia.
Is that an Australian saying? They're very juicy over
What's
there.
it mean to you?
It means pretty much what you said, but I think I could even extrapolate it even further than that. I think that we all get hurt by life.
Yeah.
But you can't say, well, I'm going to dissociate myself from life and just regress and be a hermit.
Yeah, you can be engaged.
You have to embrace it and understand that that's what life's about because it's the lessons you learn and the hurts that actually make you a better person.
Yeah, stronger.
So, Victor Martinez, take for instance, I'm sure he was hurt more than anyone at this show because his ego was hurt, number one, because he didn't win in front of his New York fans. His psyche was probably hurt in the sense that he maybe lost confidence in himself. And, it just sucks to lose.
Yeah, it does.
Here's a guy who's used to winning. So he might learn more from this loss about his character. Maybe he'll change his ways about how he goes about his life, how he gets ready for a show. Maybe he'll take bodybuilding more seriously now and become the Victor Martinez that we all know that he's capable of becoming.
Yeah, part of the one of the important ingredients is to have patience. You know what I mean? And not that you sit back and you just do nothing, but you work as hard as you can, but at the same time, it's a process and you got to be patient.
Right. Well, look, I think Victor would be the first person to tell you he loves bodybuilding and he lives the lifestyle, but he doesn't live it like Jay lives it or like Ronnie lived it.
Yeah.
And if you want to be Jay and Ronnie, you really have to live it like that.
You know what? That you have to live like a robot.
Yeah.
If you are at this level. I changed my mind. I said I was only taking black guys for clients, and after Jose, I said I'm taking robots for clients because if you say do X, they do X.
Yeah.
There's no discussion about it.
Right.
And it's a hermit. You lived it. It's a hermit lifestyle.
And I believe that Victor he's still young enough to realize
talented
his potential.
enough.
I think that hopefully this is a wake up call. Maybe this hurt will propel him to greater and better things. I think Cedric also. We didn't mention Cederick Mcmillian. People were predicting him winning this show. He kind of, was hurt by Brazil being disqualified. And I think instead of using that as a motivation to get better or to take some time off and get ready for the Olympia, he used it as
self-torture.
Torture, and he almost pushed himself to do this show when he knew he probably couldn't peak for this show because he had done too many already. And it was a negative experience. And maybe this hurt will help wake him up to his potential, because Jim Mannion gave him via me a tremendous compliment when he said this guy couldn't beat Rami. He's that good if he ever realized his true potential. And if Cedric's listening to this, that I never heard Jim Mannion give a compliment like that. So take that for what it's worth. Chris, I know we're out of time. We got to take you to the airport. I want to thank all you guys out there for watching us live. Hopefully we can do many, many more of these, though. For now, that we got to go. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Nah.
The truth does hurt. Good night.